Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday, and I hope your summer is going well. We're going to wait for just a couple more minutes to make sure we get everybody on the call. Can everybody hear me okay? You have a chat box, so you can drop something into that little chat box to let me know that you're there. But we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Okay. Is everybody there? Can you hear me? Say something in the chat box. Excellent. I have one person who's awake. Thanks, Carlene. So, good afternoon, everyone. And again, happy Thursday. Hope your summer's going well. Can't believe we're in the middle of July already. Amazing. But welcome to our Smart Women Savvy Money 2010 webinar series. 30 minutes on the clock, 20 minutes to teach, and 10 to talk. We know we're all very busy people, so we always like to have our calls scheduled for about a half an hour. And all of the calls are recorded. You will receive the replay link. And just so that you know, in the event that you can't make a call on any month, as long as you register, you're going to get the replay link. So not to worry, because everyone's schedule is different. We have people calling in from all across the country, and it just is something that we find that works well for everyone's schedule. Our webinar series is one of several educational outreach programs that are offered through our Smart Women Savvy Money Club, where women are encouraged to learn, explore, and feel confident about making sound financial decisions. Men are absolutely invited. As a matter of fact, we have a few on the call today. So feel free to share and invite our male counterparts to be on the calls as well, because a lot of the topics are really relevant to what they're experiencing in their lives as well. So again, our webinars are hosted on the second Thursday of each month between 1 and 1:30 Pacific time, except for December. It's a holiday time. And again, great thing is if you can't make it, don't worry. We'll send you the replay link. We have our great schedule. I hear some background noise. Make sure. Okay, I had some background noise there, but now we're good. In any event, we've got a great schedule lined up for the rest of the year, so please be sure to come to our website where you'll be able to take a look at the other activities that we have lined up for the balance of the year. Today's talk is actually the second in a series of 3 about aging in place. For many of us, I think it's an important topic because whether it's for ourselves, but typically it's for family members that we really need to be concerned about and are caring for or will be caring for. Today's talk, which we'll get started here in a minute, is about how to address the special housing requirements of seniors. Next month, we're going to have a team, 2 women who are geriatric specialists. I believe just one of them will be speaking, however, about how to manage your loved one's care. I have a number of colleagues, clients, and friends whose parents or elder loved ones live in a different city or in a different state altogether. How do you manage and take care of those individuals when you're not here locally? Also, we've got coming up, we're excited, this is our second annual Dodger Day. So if we have any Dodger lovers, please come onto our website or contact us actually, email us and let us know if you're interested in attending. And then in September, we will have a webinar that will be focusing on gender equality, especially as it relates to investing. How do you invest in women, and how do you identify those companies and those entities that are making an impact in the way of hiring and maintaining a focus on gender diversity in their businesses. So you can come into our website and sign up for any of these webinars, as well as be sure to come to our very robust blog. You'll see here that we have today's speaker has actually written a great piece about how to work with a senior housing specialist, and we'll be turning that over to her in just a couple of minutes. So with that, just a couple more housekeeping items before we get started. There is a chat box, so please feel free to drop in some questions. We'll be making some time towards the end of the presentation for you to ask questions, and we'll certainly make sure that you will be able to be in contact with our great speaker as well. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first off, let me introduce our speaker, Pam White, who interestingly enough is someone that I've known for quite some time. And she is a realtor and has been a realtor for over 25 years here, and has a great amount of experience here in the Los Angeles area. She's assisted many sellers with the sale of their homes as well as investment properties, as well as individuals who are just starting or want to move up. But she also helps a lot with the many facets of residential transactions. So she has experience with investors, probates, and conservatorships. She recently has obtained from the California Association of Realtors the SRES designation, or Senior Residential Real Estate Specialist. And this provides training and resources that allows her to meet the special needs of the 50-plus or age 50-plus market when buying, selling, relocating, or refinancing their residential and investment properties. She's associated with Keller Williams and Pacific Playa here in Westchester, and a member of the California Association of Realtors, National Association of Realtors, Consolidated Board of Realtors, and Inglewood Board of Realtors. She currently holds a leadership position at her Keller Williams office as a member of the Agent Leadership Council, and has served as secretary and historian with Consolidated Board of Realtors. Well, welcome, Pam. You sound like you're a pretty busy lady. So hopefully you're giving us some good time today, and so we're really looking forward to your talk, because I certainly know for myself, as well as a number of individuals who are facing the issues of moving their parents or elder loved ones, and how does that all work? So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And Renee, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I had to make sure, is that me she's talking about?
Yes, of course.
Again, my name is Pam White, and I am with Keller Williams Pacific Playa, and I'm very excited to be here today. I want to thank Renee and Urban Wealth Management for inviting me to participate in their Aging in Place series. As Renee stated earlier, I am a licensed realtor in the state of California with an SRES designation, and this afternoon I will talk to you about what this is and how it can be a benefit to those in the 50-plus market. The slide that we're looking at now is an outline of the topics that we will cover today. And those topics are: what is an SRES, why you should use an SRES, the 6 living generations, aging in place in home or community, universal design and its impact, and lastly, accessory dwelling units. So we'll move forward to what is an SRES. It is an acronym for Senior Real Estate Specialist. And what that means to you as a consumer is that you know that you are collaborating with a realtor that has had extensive training in working the 50-plus market. The next slide points out the benefits and advantages to using a realtor with an SRES. You may be planning for the future and might be thinking that you, yourself, or a loved one is considering selling their home and you're looking at other living arrangements. Oftentimes, the options may be more complex than just selling your home and could involve relocating to a community or aging in place in your current home with some modifications to the property. Some of the additional benefits include suggesting other living alternatives and the ability to interact with all members of the family that are involved in the decision-making process, including seniors, adults, and many times caretakers. The next slide gives you an idea of what type of resources an SRES possesses in their network of contacts that are able to assist the client with whatever level of service they may need. Some of those services include, but are not limited to, financial and estate planners like Renee, elder law attorneys, universal design contractors, senior move managers, liquidation specialists such as estate specialists or garage sale specialists, and other resources as noted. This is what truly gives added value to using a realtor with the SRES designation. Moving on to the next topic in our outline, the next 3 slides gives the definition of the 6 current living generations. The first 3 generations make up the majority of the 50-plus market. That includes the GI generation, the silent generation, and the baby boomer generation. Each of these generations have their own characteristics on how they approach and look at life. I would just like to point out that the baby boomer generation, until recently, was the largest group represented with 24.6% of the total population, or roughly about 76.5 million people. And many may not know that the baby boomer generation has recently been edged out by Generation Y, who represent 24.8% of the population, or 77.2 million people. And the reason that's noted here is that more than likely it will be a Gen Y who purchases the home from the baby boomer. And again, I make note that the SRES has the ability to communicate with each generation in reference to how they look at life and handle situations. The following pie chart visually shows the breakdown of the 6 living generations. Next, as we move on to discuss aging in place, it's not just about buying and selling a home in the 50-plus market, but also possessing the skill set and the resources to assess the client's housing needs. A plan for aging in place, most importantly, should include the senior's wishes and preferences. Next, I highlight what aging in place could mean. Aging in place in your community not only refers to your living quarters, such as living in a condo or apartment, shared living space, or assisted living communities. The community concept also takes into consideration the close proximity of parks, recreation centers, support and medical services, activities, transportation options, and access to worship. 1 second here. When aging in place in your current home, you choose and have the ability to stay in your residence but perhaps you might need to modify your home as your mobility and assistive needs change. This segues us into the next slide that highlights the 7 principles of universal design. When you're choosing to age in place in your current home, some modifications might need to be made in order to do your daily living activities. Universal design refers to converting and or adapting the environment in order to make performing your tasks easier, reduce accidents, and support independent living. These modifications may include structural changes such as whitening doorways or adding accessibility and assistive technology at home, which would include easy access to turning all lights off and on, or perhaps turning off and on stove knobs. I will go over a couple of the principles and their meaning. Equitable use refers to designs that accommodates everyone in the household, from a person with limited mobility to someone with difficulty in hearing. Simple and intuitive is a design that is easy to understand regardless of the user's experience, knowledge, and language skills. Tolerance for error is design that minimizes hazards and the adverse consequences of accidental or unintended actions. If you would like a complete list of all of the principles and their meaning, please email me at the address provided at the end of the presentation. The following graphic visually illustrates how you can age in place either in your home or in your community. Again, it highlights equipment as well as universal design or your community in your own independent living options such as condo or apartment, as well as opting for a village. Now, a village is a new concept that has recently come into play, and it is an organization which is usually staffed by volunteers that provide services to the senior population in order to allow them to remain in their homes as they age. And again, if you would like more information on the village concept, I'll be more than happy to send that to you. There is actually an active village on the west side of Los Angeles. As you can see, there are many things to think about when you're making decisions for the seniors in your life. That brings me to our last topic that discusses a new state law that went into effect January 1st, 2017, that most people may not be aware of. It is AB 2299 and SB 1069. It addresses what is known as an ADU or accessory dwelling unit. Accessory dwelling units are living quarters that are on a property zoned as a single-family residence. ADUs are also known by other more common names such as granny flats, back houses, guest houses, mother-in-law quarters, as well as converted garages. This law will allow the homeowner to convert or build a living quarter with relaxed guidelines. The impact that this new law will have on the 50-plus market could mean that perhaps a senior family member can age in place and have their own space, but have the close proximity of family, or could provide housing for a caregiver, or even be rented out to provide additional income. In closing, we are seeing many seniors living well into their 80s or 90s and beyond, thanks to new medical breakthroughs and our overall quality of life. As a result, many of the boomers are helping their parents as well as helping their children at the same time. So whether you're contemplating a move for yourself or other 50-plus members of your family, allow the realtor with the SRES designation to be your go-to resource for the many levels of living your life and for peace of mind. My contact information is provided at the end of this presentation, and I want to thank everyone for participating today And again, special thanks to Renee and Urban Wealth Management for inviting me to discuss this very important and poignant topic.
Great. Thanks, Pam. There's a lot of information there, and I think that it is so relevant because certainly in my case, in conversations with clients, it is a real big piece of our planning process is to talk about their parents and how they're going to be taken care of. So and for anyone here in the listening audience, please feel free to use the chat box to post any questions. So I have a couple of questions for you. So is this a relatively new designation, or has it always been available, and is it just in California, or is it all across the country?
No, it's actually nationwide. There is it is done through the National Association of Realtors. So every realtor in every state has the ability to become an SRES. But usually the realtors that choose to do this are realtors that have a passion for seniors, such as I. I have a very active 87-year-old mom myself, so she was the catalyst for me deciding to choose to get this designation because I love this population. They're not like they used to be.
That's for sure. And knowing her mother, that's absolutely correct. She has a following. 87 years old, and she still wears high heels. She's amazing.
Yes.
So how does one find a realtor with this designation?
You may go to SRES.org, and on that page, you'll be able to input your zip code and or city, and all of the realtors that are currently active with an SRES will pop up, and you'll be able to choose one that is close to your city and or the city of your loved one.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's good to know. One of the slides that you presented indicated, too, that you guys have a network of other professionals that you work with, and so which is great because it means that they've been vetted, and if someone comes to you, they can. And they have, you've got a set of solutions for them. You want to share with us a story, maybe, of a situation that you've had with a client where your network, where what you did and your network came in handy?
Absolutely. I actually just recently had a client who was relocated back to California from Atlanta. She sold her home there because her family members lived here, but she had no family there and no network. And she recently experienced a health situation that frightened her to death. So she decided to come back to Los Angeles so that she could be near family. So as a result, I met her at an open house with her expressing the desire to purchase a property. And because of her age, she had asked me about a HECM loan, which is a home equity conversion loan or a reverse mortgage purchase. So I did have in my arsenal of consultants, resources, a very well-qualified reverse mortgage consultant. We met at my office and did a conference call, and he was so thorough, and she was just so elated with the information that was given her. And by doing that, it allowed her to make a decision as to how she was going to move forward.
Excellent, excellent. And actually, that was one question that was just posed here in our chat box is, what are your thoughts about reverse mortgages? Are they a good tool or resource? So I think that kind of answers the question then, because obviously you made that introduction and it was a great solution for that particular client. We have another question. Are you finding that homeowners are incorporating universal design concepts when they're remodeling or looking for new homes?
Yes, Absolutely. Again, as the population is aging, but at the same time active, sometimes you need a little assistance. And the universal design concepts really come into play, again, during the remodel phase or updating a current existing home. And I just have an excellent resource for a universal design contractor if anybody's interested.
Interesting. Okay. So do you pay extra fees when you're working with someone who has your designation?
Absolutely not. It's no different than if you were hiring a realtor to sell your home on any level or with any situation. But again, because of the realtor's own personal passion for working with the 50-plus market and had the added value benefits of a large resource field of people to refer, it just gives added value to that realtor as opposed to a realtor who doesn't have that SRES designation.
Right, right. And, you know, up until the time that we really talked about it, I wasn't even aware that there was this designation there. So how do you guys really let people know? I mean, I've never seen any marketing or even any ads about, you know, what this designation is. Does the organization that you referred us to, are they doing a major push? I would think they should, based on the, you know, this population that we're seeing.
Well, they should, and I actually just recently and have partnered with other realtors in the Los Angeles area that have the designation, and we're in the process of going to create like a concierge of services and let it be known that we are available because we realize that this market is growing, and like you said, Renee, many people don't know about it. So I am pushing myself, doing my own push to let everyone know that I do have this designation and I do provide these services.
Excellent, excellent. We have another question. Do you find that the homes that have universal design have good resale value? Because I guess they have to be kind of customized. So how does that work when someone is looking to sell the property?
Oh, yes. I mean, absolutely. As with every buyer, they have their own needs. I mean, as I stated in the slide presentation, that many times you might have a Gen Y customer or buyer purchase a home of a 50-plus member. And so they might not need a lot of the universal designs that are existing in the property, but at the same time, many families are living together. So you could have a baby boomer who might be taking care of their parents, but maybe the grandchildren live in the house as well. So that's where the universal design concepts really come into play. And as I stated earlier, the ADUs or accessory dwelling units also are going to be pushing forward the possibility of these multiple generations living together.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. I'm sure we're going to see more and more of that. So that's excellent. So we're coming up on our half an hour. I do have one final question, and an individual is thanking you for your impactful and concise presentation, but they'd like to know more about the SRES designation and what resources might you recommend for further information.
Well, again, you can access their website, the national website, which is SRES.org. They are located in Chicago, Illinois, but they do service the whole country. And then hopefully whatever marketplace you're in, you can start asking realtors if that's a type of services that you want. Ask your realtor, do they have that SRES designation? We are even seeing many lenders and other professionals that partner with us get the SRES designation because it really explains what it takes to deal with this marketplace. Again, it's not just signing a listing contract or a purchase agreement, there are other emotional and social situations that have to be assessed. And so by having this designation, it makes the realtor more aware of what needs to be done.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Very, very timely topic and really, really interesting. I know we have a number of people who will probably follow back up with you. And again, Pam's information is here. You will get the presentation along with the replay link, so if anyone does want to reach out to her, feel free to do so. And again, the website that she mentioned is SRES.org, so you have an opportunity to connect with professionals in your own area or perhaps where your elder loved ones live so that you can do some due diligence and make sure that you've got a good fit for your loved one. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for spending some time with us today. The replay links will come out within the next couple of hours. And we look forward to having you on next month where we will have the final segment in our three-part series on how to manage logistically and otherwise your elder loved one who may not live in the same area that you do. Come back to our website for the posts, the blogs that Pam did contribute today has some really good information on our website under the topic of senior in our Aging in Place series, but working with a senior housing specialist. She's got a lot of good content in there. And then our speakers that are scheduled for next month, we will have their blog up here within the next day or so. So with that said, thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the month of July. We hope to see you back here on August the 10th, which is the second Thursday of next month. Take care and have a prosperous day.